How about some acoustic good vibes? That's what the name of the, I don't know, is it a playlist or not? This actually sounds like the garbage they played at Expona all the time. In every room I went to, it sounded exactly like this. So if you want to have the Expona experience, there it is. When I went to Expona, I heard $15,000 speakers, $12,000, $10,000, $5,000 speakers. And you know what? There was only one set that I wanted to bring home with me and do a review, and that's these. The Goldenear BRX bookshelf speakers. Grab a cup of coffee, sit down, and let's talk about these bookshelf speakers that impressed me. So to be fair, I want to review the SV. Oh, you know what? We might as well talk about this. This is the grill. It's metal, and it has a cool little thing on the end. It has a little lip on the end, and this goes to the top. And that has a lip on the bottom too, but that has like a felt pad because these are very glossy, obviously. Anyway. Oh, good. Not a scratch. Just some gunk that was on there. Woo! I also wanted to bring home the SVS Pinnacle Towers. Prime Pinnacle. Pinnacle? I don't know. It's either Prime Pinnacle or Pinnacle Prime Towers. It's a tower speaker from SVS. All right, sorry. $1,600 for the pair. That sounds like a lot, but when you're at Expona, this was about the most reasonable speaker that was there. Probably about 5 speakers that were somewhat reasonable. I think the first thing we need to talk about is the styling. This is a huge departure from most speakers. It's got curvy lines. It also has 2 passive radiators, one on either side. And I'll get into the specifications here in a second. But I just wanted to show you just how beautiful these speakers are. Glossy, so they're gonna show fingerprints, yeah. These are thicker at the back of the speaker than they are at the front. 6.5-inch woofer. I'm going to talk about the tweeter here in a second. And then a set of binding posts on the back. If there was legitimately one gripe about this whole speaker is it's absolutely gorgeous, but the binding posts don't seem to be as nice as the rest of the speaker. Now, that doesn't matter. People are looking at the back, but it seems like one of the new things that people are doing on factory speakers is, I don't know, jazzing up the binding posts. It doesn't bother me at all. And I wouldn't even mention it if the rest of the speaker wasn't just so gorgeous. And you can see the exposed hardware right here. Just really good. Curve here at the top. I absolutely love the way these look. So at Expona, if you just sat these next to the $10,000 speakers and you would have said, hey, this is a $5,000 speaker, I'd have totally believed you on styling alone. But at $1,600, they're $400 more than the SVS Ultra, $400 more than the ELAC Unify Reference, $400 or thereabouts less than the Buchard S400 Mark II. I think that's the model number. While they are expensive, they are not outside of the realm of possibilities for most people if they save their nickels and dimes, maybe not go out to eat some beans and hot dogs for a while, maybe some rice. Actually, I said this was a 6.5-inch woofer. I was wrong. It is a 6-inch woofer. Cast basket reference mid-bass driver. That's what it says. 2 rectangular side-mounted passive radiators. Rated frequency response 40 up to 35,000 hertz. Has a high gauze reference HVFR, high velocity folded ribbon tweeter. I don't know. Looks about maybe 2 inches vertically. Sensitivity is 90 dB, so this isn't terribly hard to drive, and it's an 8-ohm speaker. So really, you could probably get away with driving these with a tube amp if you really wanted to. They're 12 pounds a piece. Magnetic grill. Beautiful magnetic grill. So initially I put these in the living room on at television and movie duty on my Marantz NR1711 for about a month. They were in there for a long time. When I brought them in for critical evaluation, which we're actually going to do together today, the Geshelli Labs J2 was feeding the Akatika PR102. I always want to say PT102. Going in to the Emotiva, the new A1 monoblocks. So that's what I was listening to. Very clean setup. Very clean setup. And with a folded ribbon tweeter, or, hold on, I got to go back to it. HVVF, wait a minute. HVFR tweeter, you're going to want some cleanliness feeding this thing so you can hear all the dynamics, all the detail, all the yumminess that's out there. I have noticed this about some folded ribbon, well, pretty much all folded ribbon tweeters. When I get my ear above it, the top end falls off fairly quickly. Now, some soft dome, some aluminum dome, titanium dome, they will do the same thing. But for me, I have seen that to be more of an aggressive fall off with folded ribbon tweeters. Now, with that said, if you have your ear, I would say within probably 3 inches above or 3 inches below, it doesn't really matter for me. With movies and everything, I kept turning my head, not as much as some speakers, but soundstage and imaging is just fine. Vertical imaging with voices and things like that, I had these up here and they were doing a wonderful job of imaging, and then voices were a little bit higher than the tweeter. Maybe the ELAC series with the concentric drivers, maybe the KEF series do maybe a bit of a broader throw when it comes to soundstage and imaging. These are just fine. Imaging was actually very good and seamless, and they're not particularly particular. Not particularly particular about where you put them up. I didn't have to dial these in just perfectly. I was a little loose with them, and I still got good soundstage and imaging. So you don't need to worry about soundstage and imaging with the Goldenear BRX. I'm going to do it a little bit differently today. So I'm actually going to play some royalty-free music, which is from Epidemic Sound. It's not all royalty-free. I pay for a subscription. But I'm going to listen, and then I'm going to talk about what I'm hearing. I've already got a pretty good idea of how these sound with what I've listened to, but I thought it would be fun today. We did a little bit of listening together, and then I talked about it to you in the camera on the internet. I'm going to play everything from my trusty Mac Air. The only thing I hate about these things is I have to put one of these on there to put a USB. So I'm going to USB into the Geshelli Labs J2, and then we're going to listen to some music together, okay? It's summer, it's hot, so I have a fan here. Incidentally, if you like to listen to music and you don't like to have a fan impact your sound, this is actually the Polonus fan. Listen to how quiet this thing is. Polonus fan. I have 2 of them, and I'll probably buy another one. They're fantastic. I'll link it in the description. You got a loud fan, you're just going to cover up your music, whether or not you like it or not. Hey, look at that, it works. Alright, so I'm going to make sure I have tone controls off and all that good stuff. Now let's find some songs that would actually represent what we're trying to listen to. So first we'll talk about some bass. For this first song, I actually use it in a lot of my transitions, the little transition screens. Whoops, it's the wrong one. Dark Prince is what I was after. There we go. First of all, the bass is pretty solid, but actually the thing that's impressing me the most is the soundstage and imaging. There's the all over the place. Alright. So far so good. Very impressive. Let's see if we can find something like a some type of jazz or something. Actually, I think these may have too much bass, which is surprisingly weird considering that it's a, well, passive radiator design. So I think in this smaller room, you may have to actually turn down the bass. The bass amount is pretty apparent. I keep listening to other things on the song. Bass quantity, great. Tone and texture sounds good. I think if you have a bunch of boundary reinforcement, which just means you have walls close on the side and in the rear, these may be too bassy for you, so you might need to use some tone controls, which I'm going to use right now. So I'm going to put on a little tone controls, see if I can clean this bass up in this room. Oh yeah, so I turned down the bass a pretty fair amount and cleaned it up. Upper mid-range came back in. So this is a small room. I didn't notice this phenomena when I was in a larger room. In a smaller room though, the thing loads up a lot of bass. Just be cognizant of that. About some acoustic good vibes. That's what the name of the, I don't know, is it a playlist or not? This actually sounds like the garbage they played at Exponent all the time. In every room I went to, it sounded exactly like this. So if you want to have the Exponent experience, there it is. All right, let's get some metal on here. Let's see if we can hear some metal, some electric guitar. Can't believe how much bass there is going on here. I need to turn this down a bit. Tone controls. All right, here we go. No complaints here. Very grunty. Again, since the bass is pretty thick on these things, that lower mid-range, guitar, really, really apparent. Still very crisp. Again, though, in a smaller room, you may need to turn that bass down to get some of that crispness to come back in. Mid-range is good. Very good. A little bit on the warm side. I think it's due to how much bass is coming through here. You can change that up a bit. You can just dial the bass back. How about some treble? These cymbals sound very, very good. A lot of air, a lot of detail in the string when the plucking of the strings. Cymbals are very good. They're hanging out, airy, very good. I did not see that coming. It was pretty good, actually. Man, all right. I found the track for these speakers because this thing sounds awesome. Very good bass line. Good electric guitar in here. Very good imaging. Things are right there and then delineated too. Instruments are also separated out, so I can hear the cymbals behind the band. Well, not behind, but separated out from the rest. So there's very good separation with this speaker. All right, that's good. Very good, very good. So we're just going to skip to kind of the overall conclusions because that's kind of what's happening anyway. Let's go. The cool thing about Epidemic Sound is you can go to overall genres of music, or at least how they separate them out. I like, personally, to go to rock and roll. That one faked me into thinking it was much better than it actually was. So initially I had tone controls on, then I turned tone controls off. It's like having a loudness button in here. Let's see. Nope, don't like that one. Nope. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is a completely different speaker when you start manipulating the bass. Both versions are actually really good. I actually like it. It's legit like a bass, not a bass, well, kind of like a bass boost when you don't have it on. In this room, here, I want to listen to some more of that. Oh yeah. These are good. Now I know. I remember why I love these so much at Expona. And they really blew me away because they had their older, bigger brothers were like 10 grand. And these little things were, and they're not that little, but they were sitting next to these big speakers. And I wasn't losing much. Frankly, I preferred the sound over these. They did have them hooked up to a subwoofer, but I'm telling you, I don't think you're going to need a subwoofer for these. Definitely in a smaller room. If you're just after monstrously bowel-shaking bass, maybe. But, I mean, I don't know if you can... I don't know if this is coming through on your end. I'll do it with tone controls on, which is a backed off... I have the bass backed off a bit. And then I'll turn the tone controls off and see if you can hear a difference on your end. All right? So, tone controls on. That's off. Tone controls on. Yeah, these babies are bassy. Baby got bass. Yeah, that was very good. Whoa, the soundstage on this song is huge. It seems like it's coming from everywhere around me. Now we're talking. All right, this has kind of like a Nine Inch Nails-y vibe to it. I like it. All right, very good. All right, that's enough. These speakers are fantastic. Great. Probably is broken now. These speakers are really good. Now, I still have to compare them to the ELAC Unify reference. I still need to compare them to the Buchard S400 Mark IIs. Ironically, from memory, they all kind of sound a little bit similar. I think the detail you're going to get out of this one, I think, is going to... Well, I'm going to leave it for later. I know. Overall, very good. Very impressed with the bass presence, especially almost too much in small rooms. I probably beat that dead horse. Texture in the bass is excellent. Detail on the top end is there, but because of the bass, which goes into the mids, you have to lean in for some of that detail. When I was watching movies with it, I did notice that the dialogue wasn't nearly as crisp as some other speakers that maybe have a different sound characteristic. But the detail's there, it's just like a fan. So the mid-range is covering up some of the top end. Once you dial that bass back a little bit though, all that detail comes roaring back to you. Between the looks, between the sound, between the how big this thing plays, I think it definitely justifies the $1,600 price tag. I wish they were $1,200. If they were $1,200, I'd be like, go buy these, because these are kind of even a no-brainer at $1,200. But at $1,600, I need to make the comparison. I need to compare them to a $1,200 speaker and a $2,000 speaker and see where they lie. A lot of fun today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, put it in the comments if you like this type of evaluation. But if you're new here, consider subscribing. We have over 470 videos. Stuff for everybody. Turntables, DACs, everything. You can use the links in the description. That's an affiliate link. I'll link this to Crutchfield. If you want to buy them through Crutchfield, I will get a commission, but it doesn't cost you any more. These come as singles, so you'll have to buy 2 of them. So don't get excited if you see it's $800. That's 50% off. No, it's just per speaker. You can also sign for Amazon Music or Tidal Music. Links in the description. Click sign up. Even if you quit, I do get a couple of bucks. You can also use the thanks button. If you got any value out of this video, you can buy me a cup of coffee or two. Don't feel compelled to give though. It's down below the video next to the share button. Then you can also sign up for Patreon. Patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night we have Patreon-only Zooms and Patreon-only Discord group and Patreon-only Facebook group and Patreon-only giveaways. If you're dad, today's Father's Day. So happy Father's Day. I know your struggle, but it's very rewarding. Sometimes you need to treat yourself with a new set of speakers or something like that. So don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. Binge listen maybe through your new Goldenear BRX bookshelf speakers and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.